Hi everyone, this is Kaustup here from InsightStat and welcome to this video on primary keys and foreign keys. So this is a continuation of the previous video where we talked about data models, and we saw that why data models are important and what comprises of a data model, fact tables and dimension tables. Now we could not connect the different tables that we have, but we understood what are fact and dimension tables. In today's video, we will understand how to connect these fact and dimension tables. Now, in our previous video, we saw what are fact and dimension tables. Fact tables are numerical tables, dimension tables are tables which describe something, maybe a customer or a product. Now, using the same example which we saw in our previous session, we'll talk about the primary keys and the foreign keys. So what are primary keys? Primary keys are mostly found in dimension tables, and these primary keys will uniquely identify each row or each record in a dimension table. For example, in the customer table here, we have customer ID C001 that uniquely identifies the customer Sarah Chen. Similarly, in the product ID table, we have the product ID P001 that uniquely identifies the product name Ultra Shampoo. Right? So primary keys uniquely identifies each row in dimension tables. Now, these same primary keys, when it moves to a fact table, when we have these same records in a fact table, these become the foreign key. So what is a foreign key? Foreign keys can have multiple instances of each value, and foreign keys will always reference to the primary key in a dimension table. Now look at this foreign key here, customer ID. This is no longer a primary key because we are talking about the fact table, the sales table. So in the sales table, the customer ID C001 have multiple instances here. Here we have C001 here, we have C001 here. But please understand, this C001 uniquely corresponds to a unique customer called Sarah Chen. So this is the difference between primary key and foreign key. Primary key always uniquely identifies an instance in the dimension table. Foreign key can have multiple values in the fact table, but it will always correspond to the primary key of a dimension table. So the customer ID column and the product ID column refers to the customer ID primary key and the product ID primary key in the customer and the product table. Right? So this is the difference between primary keys and foreign keys. Now let's understand in our context, the AdventureWorks context, how are we going to identify the primary keys. Okay, so let's move to the model view. So in the model view, we have these tables, right? We have the territory lookup, product categories, product subcategories, calendar lookup, customer lookup, the sales data, and the returns data. Now, how do we identify the primary keys in this case? There's a hack here. Always remember, the table, the name of the table will always tell us what is the table going to talk about, or what information or what kind of data that table will hold. For example, territory lookup. So this will hold territory level data, right? Now, in order to uniquely identify each territory, what do we need? We need a territory key, which we have here. Now, if this confuses you, if this view confuses you, always go to the table view and look at the respective table. Look at this. We have the territory lookup here. We have this territory key, region, country, and continent. We know that region can have multiple values, but how do you uniquely identify a region? We can put a key and then have unique values for each of those keys. Right? For in this case, we have region 1, the sales territory key 1, identifying Northwest region in the United States. right? And the continent is North America. Similarly, if we go to, let's say, the product lookup table, product lookup again talks about products. So how would you uniquely identify products? There have to be a product key column. Similarly, if we go to customer lookup, there has to be a unique key that would identify each customer, because customer lookup talks about the customer table, and how we will identify each customer is by using a customer key column, right? Now go back to the model view. Now how do we mark the primary keys in each of these tables? We'll go to the properties here. Do you see the properties pane here? We'll expand it, and we will see that, let's take the trade territory key, and in this territory key we have a key column here. All we have to do is go to this drop down, select sales territory key. Look at this. It creates an icon here like a driver's license or an ID card, which says that this is the primary key. Similarly, I'll go to the product lookup. We have the product key. Let me close this. This will keep popping up. Okay. Next we have the product categories. I'll go to the product category key. For the product subcategories, we have a product subcategory key. For the calendar lookup, again, if we go back to the table view and we go to the calendar lookup, so each of these rows has been uniquely identified by this date column. So in this case, my key column will be date. So for the customer lookup table, it will be the customer key. Okay. Now sales data and returns data are fact table, so they will only have the foreign keys, which we will talk about in the next video, how to form the relationships. So in today's video, we talked about two very important concepts, foreign keys and primary keys, and how to identify primary keys in our lookup tables. I'll see you guys in the next video, where we will talk about how to form these relationships, and then we will talk about a couple of more concepts, the different schemas of how to connect tables, namely the star schema and the snowflake schema, and that would mark the end of the data modeling section. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like the video, please do subscribe and do share it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.